Alright, so we got a set of BR9 code or COP brakes for the charger. So these things will bring the front discs up from 13.6 to a 14.5 inch disc, and the rears up from 12.6 to 13.7. And they also have bigger calipers for the rears with a little bit bigger pads, but the front ones are massive. I forget what the exact swept area is, but it has more swept area than the 4-piston Brembos, but less than the 6 pistons on the Hellcat. So pretty big brakes. And look at this, the pistons on these things have got to be they're the size of the top of a pop can. And the calipers themselves, they're taller than a can. Actually, if you put two, their whole thing's as tall as 2 cans, and they're massive. So I ordered some stainless steel lines, because all these ones came cut, which I didn't ask them to put them on because I wanted to get new lines anyway. But I was going to order some pads, but these came with the factory Akebono pads, and they're actually got 75% at least of the pad left, so we'll sand them smooth and use these to start with. But we'll get some rotors on the way. But until then, we can clean these up, and I have some black caliper paint just to keep them looking a little nice. And I did the same thing to the ones on the car now, and apart from being a little dirty right now, it's still holding up good. So we'll go ahead and get started on that. Alright, so we've got all the calipers painted and cleaned up, and all the pads are sanded so they're a bit smooth. We got our braided stainless lines in, so now I guess we can start with the back, get in the COP brakes on the charger. This is the caliper that whenever I was trying to flush brake fluid in the car, its bleeder was stuck, and I had to crack open the line. And that's kind of what started all this. I figured, if I'm going to replace a caliper, I may as well upgrade at the same time and get the COP brakes. There we go. And one old caliper. Alright, so up here I've got one of the new rear rotors, and here's the old rear rotor. So there's pretty good size difference here. So they're about an inch bigger in diameter. These are 12.6 inches, these are about 13.6 or 13.7, I think. There you go, there's a better look. All the way around. Bonded 4 clicks out, or in, to get it to come off. I don't want to overdo it, because last time I adjusted them too much it made the car shake going down the road whenever they'd warm and expand, so they were dragging just a bit. And I thought I was losing a wheel when that happened. Alright, and we've got our new caliper to put on. We're going to see if we can be lazy and get it all on in one shot. Taking the caliper off the bracket. Yes. minutes to start. And there we are. One cop brake. Now we can start dealing with the lines. We still have the lines on the old caliper, so it's not leaking fluid anywhere right now. So we'll take the lines that were cut from the new caliper and get them out of the way. Line, banjo bolt, washer on both sides. I guess now we can grab our line wrench and get this thing loose up here. So that's our guy up there. Alright, I lied. Couldn't find a properly sized box wrench, or line wrench, so have to use a box wrench. But there we go. Old line, new line. At least it's finger tight, so hopefully it's not leaking profusely now. Now, these stainless lines are really meant for the RT, which, like I said, it's just a hair closer in. So they, okay, yeah, that did it enough. The banjo, well, actually no, that is the way it meant to be, I just didn't have it right. Make sure the banjo's up against the back piston of the caliper there so that the hose has enough room to move with the suspension at full droop, which it is right now. That already actually seems pretty tight. Not a ton of threads in there either. Might have to inspect that. So it turns out that was just my mind playing tricks on me. It is fully bolted in, so we're all hooked up with our stainless line now. So now we'll just have to bleed it. But we'll get everything cleaned off here, get the old caliper out of there, and then we'll go get the other side done. I'll say one thing I noticed is a bit odd though, is the rear hoses are marked side to side. The left hose has this block fitting on it for the caliper, and this one on the passenger side has just a normal banjo. Doubt it matters, just a bit odd. Maybe they couldn't get the banjo bent the other way. I don't know, or the other way around. But as long as it works. Alright, we went and hooked up the motive bleeder up front, and we are getting a lot of fluid, but there are still some bubbles in it. So we'll keep going until we get no more bubbles. Oh, I think we're finally seeing it into the bubbles here. Haven't had any in a bit. And here's a quick look at the new police rotor versus the RT rotor. And if we center them up, you know, they're about an inch bigger, so there's, you know, ½ inch all the way around. But if you sit them side by side, you really see how much bigger these ones are. It's quite a big difference. Right, so the back's racked up, and I went ahead and turned the car around in the garage. And you can see there, definitely going to need to bed the pads in some because they're only touching a bit in the middle. Or, I mean, they're touching a good bit in the middle, but they'll definitely need to bed it in. So we'll go ahead and get the front off and get it good to go. And then we can go bed in the brakes. guess it looks like these cop rotors have a spot for a little jack screw, or well, actually I guess just a retainer bolt. Stop that from happening. But these others don't, so it gets left off. One thing to notice, my car's an all-wheel drive, so the caliper sits on the front of the rotor. So you need to make sure the bleeder's up. The calipers are the same as the rear-wheel drive, you just use it on the opposite side. So that's where that retainer would actually be convenient, and then do yourself a favor, don't get paint in the threads on the caliper bracket like I did. Now we can get the lines. In case anybody's wondering, it's about 100 degrees right now. Assuming camel slip. So where we're at now, just gotta get the line apart. There we go. Old caliper, new line. So last little bit of tightening. There we go. That's on. That sounds terrible. So one thing is this line is awful long. So see if we can use some of the included hardware to kind of tie it up out of the way. Alright, so this is what we ended up having to do up front to take care of the slack that was in these lines from them being too long. So we just made a little tin bracket, or steel bracket. It attaches the line with the P-clip further up the caliper just to use up some of the slack in it. And it seems like that's doing good because now we're not hitting anything, it's far away from the wheel, not rubbing the suspension or anything. So, call it all good, but got the thing all bled, so we'll get the wheel back on and go take it for a ride and try and get these brakes bedded in.